Welcome to ICCA Live, World-Class Education Online. Today we bring to you Master Mixologist Giovanni Depergola. Ta-da! Mr. G, as we call him, has over 20 years of experience in the beverage industry the world over. He has several new openings to his credit and has trained over 1,500 bartenders in establishments across the Gulf region. He is also the co-founder of Alembic, a creative drinks agency which specializes in concept and bar menu development, new openings, staff training, and education. We encourage you to ask questions as we go through this learning program, and do type them into the chat and I will take them up with Mr. G for you at the end of the session. Over to you, Mr. G.
Excellent, Shanaz. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you for connecting with us. My name is Giovanni. Correct, Shanaz. Depergola is my surname. Yes, we in Liquid Alembic, we started this collaboration with ICCA a couple years ago, and we're very happy to showcase to you what exactly we are doing here in ICCA when we're running a program dedicated to dry mixologists, which is called Cocktail Zero, the alcohol design cocktail. So this is for us, this is our world, and we could dress up even more with the equipment and beautiful products that we can find. So what we have here today, we're gonna have a journey, and in a short time, probably will take like half an hour, half an hour to 14 minutes. So what we're gonna do, we will start and show you how the guys, when they come in at the school, what they're actually learning. We have a kind of two level here. We're going level one, understanding the fundamentals, so bar equipments, and then they're moving into something much more in depth. So we call the level two, where really we go in depth, understanding the usage of the product by really also creating their own. So you will see back on the second part of the day. So today is wonderful because we are my pleasure to showcase you a very interesting recipe. One recipe is called the gin and tonic in 3 ways. So I'm sure you will probably see on the graphic very soon, and that's what we have. So we actually showcasing in a gin and tonic in the 3 ways, but gin and tonic means 0. So those are one of the few products. We brought you something that's locally available and also something internationally available, because this is what we do here. We're broadcasting all the way. So we're more than happy to showcase whatever is available in our market, also outside. So the first cocktail we'll do is something that is available in our market, is a Pearson gin. So really cool, very interesting, because the way they are doing is someone called them fake gin, but no, those are actually distilled water. So it's very interesting the way they actually putting all the botanicals together. And this one is interesting. I love it because they have different flavors, and it's quite peppery, and it's quite grass and herbal. So our first cocktail, in normally gin and tonic in a classic way, and back in the days, we always serve nice in a what we call a tumbler, on a highball. This is what we see now. So what we do is as simple as it is. We will have a 50 milliliter of the gin all the way inside. And then what else? Now, normally you will have a citrus or anything like this. Well, in this case, we saw that in the very interesting part, when you're matching your gin, you need a good tonic water. So we have showcase here 3 different styles of tonic water. One more citrus, one is casually aromatic, and the last one is more light, so has got less sugar than all of them. So very interesting to see that. So what do we do here? We'll fill up the glass with ice, pretty much like this. And ice for us is an ingredient. So in the school, the guys, they're really understanding the importance of the ice. For us, the Oshizaki ice is what we normally is our preferable ice all the time. Is an ingredient, is melting very slow. So that's very important. Now, what's happening here? We choose a nice, well, in this case, it has to be Italian. So I went for a nice Italian Tassoni. It's quite citrus, very interesting tonic water. And what we do here, so we don't going to have any extra citrus or lime or lemon, but what we do is what we're going to have is just pouring over and enjoy the combination, so the concoction between these 2 elements. And that's it. So pretty much the drink is ready. Well, as simple as it is, But what we do, this is what we call cocktail zero. So we like to design we like to design the cocktail. So one of the that it really works to get one of the herbs that really works well together is the rosemary. Very interesting. What we're doing here, we're toasting. We're not really we're burning, we're toasting till the time that it gets very nice and light, and then all the way inside here. So what you will see here, this is what you're gonna get. So a very nice, clean, crispy look. And this is what is it. So if you don't mind, I always try my cocktail. That's very important. So let me have a sip. Oh, I love the herbal and the citrus that come. Oh, yes. Excelente, we say in Italy. Bravo, eccellente. So this is our first, and I will put it here. So what we'll do, it's just gin and tonic 3 ways. So you have to do it another way. So the second one is, it's kind of like usual, you know, because gin and tonic became from a classic eyeball. Then it went to all those balloons, and you will see very soon. But now we go on the rocks. So let's see, on the rocks, something different. Very interesting. This one, we actually going to have, what we do, we are going to stir. So why are we stirring this one? Because we're going to have an element. So the actually element is in a sweet violet bitter. So those bitter are very interesting because those are actually not alcoholic. So they contain quite aromatic, beautiful floral notes on these. And then we will have something which is the crisp. So this is a cedar. It's another style of gin. And this one, it has a bit more, we'll say junipery, chamomile, they say cucumber as well. So it's all very interesting product that the way they evolve. So 3 ways how to enjoy the gin and tonic. So what else we have here? Based on this, we just need a bit of the dilution. And when we work on, when the guy's understanding, this is a technique, we call this a stirring technique. So in this case here, what the guys, the understanding is the importance of the ice when you use this technique, that it should not dilute it too much. Otherwise, especially when we are using product like this, what's going to happen? They don't have the thickness of the actually when the product you have in a gin with alcohol. So you just need to be a bit of a cold. So just what we want. And here we have and then very interesting. This is a rosemary and the black olive. So really, really interesting. So normally what we have in a good gin and tonic, let's say 2 to 1. So 2 parts of your mixer and 1 part of the actually gin. So that will make us a good gin and tonic balance. And what we'll do here, so I think probably I will just have a bit of a lime inside. So here we have, so the squeeze of the lime, the citrus, just to get that. And that's it. Our gin tonic is pretty much ready to rock and roll. Yeah. Now, I think probably what we say, Shanaz, you know that if anyone has questions or anything, you know, you guys feel free always to address questions to us. We more than happy to discuss in details. So what do we do here? This is a nice, so we have already the herbal tones, so which is very interesting to have it. So we get a bit of this. So what we do here, we're adding elements of a fruitiness. So a beautiful strawberry that goes inside. We put a bit of a strawberry and of course a bit of the green. So of the actually lime. So I really like this because it's a very nice and simple, and the way it looks is a fruity. It really respects the style of the gin. So there's a lot of going on here. So let me try. Oh, I like this one. I like the cucumber that really match with the lime. You guys don't know, but in front of me, I've got a lot of people, and you know what they do? They say, "Come, give to me." No, they all want to have a taste, but you will have it. You will have it soon. So I will put this on this side here. So this is our gin and tonic in 3 ways. Now, to conclude the saga of the gin and tonic, I will have another one. So for this one, we actually going to do it. We're going to shake it up. So we're going to have a bit of a technique here that we're adding. We will have a nice yuzu. Now, this is interesting. Yuzu is, we always work very close with the guys from Boiron, if they're watching, ciao, because we definitely, the yuzu here, we love it. You know, it's this mix of beautiful citrus, mandarin, all over. And then we adding here the actually seedlip is a quite citrus. So this is beautiful. They have like the different style of actually gin. The one we're using is called Grove 42. Have a lot of different botanicals. Very, very pleasant when you're actually working with a product like this. And then again, we go for a 50 milliliter of the seedlip, so the gin. And what else? Pretty much we have our yuzu. So when we put in this like this, we just do the expansion. Now, I always like, this is a citrus, so I like to bring the freshness. So we have the yuzu, but why not? Let's go with a nice grapefruit inside, because it's quite that citrus element, and the grapefruit is loved because it really works and it opens up a lot of the aroma. So ready to rock and roll. The glass we're choosing here is actually a wine glass. So this is what we actually have in. So we are going tradition, ready for the camera here. Now, when we are working with this kind of product, we need quick shake, quite intense, and that's all. So the drink is ready to go. Now, as you see, rule number one, when the guys are coming on level 1, you never shake carbonation. Now, the carbonation we choose for this concoction is actually an Fentimans Light. So British, very style, low on sugar, beautiful. So this is quite dry. And as you can see, all our tonic are different sizes. So depend on the glass you're actually using. So very interesting that the guys, they have the bartender nowadays, they have so much to choose, you know, there's so many different ingredients where the guys they're choosing from. So this is pretty much looks is ready. We don't really is mixed already, happy days. And let's go for it. So now what I like about this, that will be, meanwhile, the others, we had the super clear and crystal, you know, the completely crystal color inside. For this one, what we just decide to do is to give a beautiful, nice, you can see, bit of a cloudy color. Now, our garnish here is interesting because with so much citrus that we have, always, we will have the sprinkle mint, that will work on this side. And to wrapping everything, I will have our cocktail zero. Let me put it here, probably you can see better. This is a citrus. Now, before I garnish this, 1 second, let me show you how do we do it. Well, we peel the actually orange or your grapefruit or your favorite citrus, and then we actually using a stamp. This is makes very hot, and that's it. So you really stamp on it, and happy days. We got the Cocktail Zero logo there. So this is, we got a few tricks here at the school. The guys are going all over just to really understanding. And the beauty of this is that what we're going now for Cocktail Zero, I'm sure you guys will be able to see. This is a nice, simple way how to garnish. Yeah. Well, let me try because really, it looks very appealing. Oh, this is interesting. It has a lot of character, a lot of character there together with the citrus, with the mint. Now, when we're using mint, when we're using those beautiful different garnishes here, for us, those is what we call the functional garnishes, because the lime will be a citrus, the rosemary will give a lot of herbal, the same like the mint also. When you do the zest of the orange, a lot of the citrus goes inside. So this is our gin and tonic 3 ways. And you can see they're very simple, the way we actually making them. So why not? 1, 2, 3. Now, the other cocktail we prepared for you is pretty much very simple, everything we do. And what is going to have it? We're using a mixing glass. So this is another simple technique. And what we are doing here is actually we're using a beer cocktail. Now, beer is 0-0. So a lot of people, they're really starting to enjoy, daytime, whatever you can do it. So it's really, really interesting. So what we do here is what we call is a beer shandy, but we call beer shandy mule. Why we call the mule? Because we actually using an interesting product. which is the ginger beer. Now, the ginger beer we are using is actually quite spicy, you know, so it has a lot of spices. You can see all the sediment at the bottom here. So this is our choice of the day. But then the cool thing here is, let me pour so you guys can have actually see. Well, this is our mark. So a classic, a classic cocktail. You will have the mule, you will have the Moscow mule, having a copper, something like this, probably much. Maybe you can see, and this is what I was saying. So silver, super cold when you're actually going to have a pleasant, really nice when you're actually going to actually drink. So the combination here is as simple as it is. We have the grapefruit. We're gonna add another lovely ingredients that it's not common to find, and this is pretty much we're using. This is a lemongrass, boiron lemongrass. Love it, you know. The way the guys they made it is so soft, and then is really the spiciness that comes through. So this mule will have a bit of a kick there. So very interesting. So sometimes we're having a beer, and now people really enjoy the style of drinking beer much more with the floral notes, with the fruity notes, with the herbals. So I always like, you know, a good beer with the citrus element always works. You know, there's plenty there outside of combination. You know, you got the Mexican style. The guys also a product like this, they take advantage also of the sapidity, so a bit of a saltiness, you know, the savory part. So you can actually, the inspiration behind this cocktail, it kind of like works in a middle between also a paloma. So a paloma is actually a cocktail come from the tequila with a bit of salt and a grapefruit. So it is a mix of interesting combinations here. Now, for us, when the guys are coming here to school, they need to know the classics. So that's why the fundamental takes you through the understanding how to use the product first. We do a lot of tasting, assessment. So, and then how can you really put them together to make sure that we really satisfy our menu at the end, because the entire program is designed by aperitif, you know, food friendly. Then we have cocktails that goes with the outdoor, and cocktail like this, absolutely, this is an all day. You know, what a great breakfast will be, you know, to have, you know, around 11 o'clock, great aperitif as well. And absolutely an afternoon, you know, it's an afternoon killer. I probably will change the name for that. So what we'll do is we have the grapefruit, we have the actually, so it's not going to be shaken or anything because we are using a lot of carbonation. So what we will have is actually the 60 milliliter of our ginger. So this is quite intense. This is quite intense ginger beer. So it's like a ginger, quite intense. So, you know, depend on what we're using. And then pretty much we always have the size with the 330 milliliter. We love to see those beautiful colors, the golden and everything. But then, you know, it's a beer cocktail. So at the end of the day, so what we don't want is to have a lot of dilutions happening and changing too much of the color, you know, beer and ice. So we're going to make it extremely cold. We make in extremely cold also our cup. And that's it. So the drink is pretty much ready to rock. I love the golden color. So when we're working with the beer cocktail, we tend not to really to change the color. And if we do so, absolutely. A cup like this will definitely, ooh, nice. Fantastic. There we go. So now that the drink is ready, we need a bit of a garnish there. Look how it looks beautiful. You know, it gets so cold. And it's nothing more exciting than having a cold beer. So what we'll do here, we will garnish with our grapefruit because that's definitely will bring a lot of this. And allow me to have a nice fresh thyme. You know, herbals always works very well with the beer. And allow me here to have it. Now, this is pretty cool because the vessels is very nice. This is very nice, and let me try. Let's see. I'm not convinced. Let me have one more. Oh, this is good, I like it. Now, this is as simple as it is. We just put the grapefruit, the lemongrass that brings a lot. Why are we using a puree? It's very simple. The fact is that when you're using a puree in a cocktail like this, will give you consistency. A fresh lemongrass, it can be over powerful. Sometimes the guys especially at the beginning, they don't know how to play with exactly the fresh stick or other herbs. So it's good to use in a puree that will align the flavor together. So, oh, I think this is great. This is very nice. So to recap, before we actually, I think we have a small break, and you guys will play a small video in a minute. So what we'll do, before we prepare it for the grand finale, we have a lot of things that are going on in our last drink. You're gonna love it. So what we just did here is pretty much, we had a gin and tonic served in 3 ways. So 3 ways gin and tonic. Again, with the internationally and the locally available product. Well, the first one, very simple, you know, it's quite citrus, the tonic we are using, and nice, very herbal. The second one works actually with a tonic that has been flavored with the rosemary and black olive. So now we're using a fresh fruit and citrus to balance. The last one, we went completely on citrus with the yuzu and using it, and also in the gin that really works with functional garnishes that we call like a mint, a rosemary, and a thyme. So a lot of herbals going on. We wrapped the session with this wonderful beer cocktail, and then we used, in this case, in a 0-0 mixed with grapefruit. So a lot of citrus there and floral notes with the lemongrass, and then of course with our beer and the ginger beer. So I like the kick. So a lot of interesting flavors there. Well, I will say we can play the video now for our, everything will disappear, and get ready for our grand finale. Eh? There we go. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to have here, let me just grab this 1 second. Allora, we're going to have here our glass. And we have everything. Let me capture 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have it. So ready for the grand finale. What we're going to have here is a very interesting. So to do this, I'm just going to get 1 second to the freezer to pick up something that you will love it, because you will actually see. So let me grab this one from the freezer 1 second here. There we go. Whatever exactly we are going to prepare for you is something that you probably haven't seen this before. Let me capture everything. So what we are preparing for you is actually, this is what we call the Americano cocktail. And this is going to have a lot of things going on. Meantime, also, we're going to make for you in a beautiful ice bowl that is going to go in one of the rocks glass that we have it here at the side. 1 second, let me grab here. There we go. We can see through the camera, slowly, slowly. Yes, it's happening. I like it. Now, meanwhile, this is going on, actually, you guys can see everything. What's going to happen is I want to show you, this is something that we have it. So I will make some space for you guys to see. So let me grab this one. Nice and cold glass here. So here we have something that we call, so this is what is hibiscus americano. So we are using and a very interesting hibiscus and rose gin. So this is quite unique. This is locally available, very interesting. And then we actually have a red wine. Now, what's happening in Americano cocktail? We actually have the vermouth, the bitters, and all these together. So we're making our own recipe here. And what we do, we actually made our smoked. So we smoked our red wine. So this is an available red wine that you find zero, of course, no alcohol. But what we did, I want to show you what exactly we did with these ones. Meanwhile, this is all going on and everything. So I will have it. What we actually have, this is all full of spices here. You can see, brilliant. So this is what our infuser. So what we do, let me get this for you guys can actually see directly everything. Let me see from the camera. Yes, brilliant. So what I'm gonna do is having a beautiful smoking of all those spices and herbs. And you probably can see here exactly, voila, yeah, I like it. And then I will have this going inside here, very nice and gentle. So I told you this was a grand finale. Eh? So what we do here is precisely beautiful. So what we're doing is actually we are smoking the liquid. Let me see. Yes, you guys can see. And then we go all the way. So normally we already prepared this. So this infusion, we left there for a couple of weeks. So we're creating our own vermouth. So this is on level 2, where the guy's really going through understanding all those details. And we leave it here, we fill it up, we leave there for probably, I will say 2 to 3 weeks. We had here. So the ingredients are a mix of spices, then we have a bit of sugar, and then we leave it for 2 weeks, really to infuse at the end of the day. We don't really, we're macerating technically because we're not going to eat up. So technically we leave that for a maceration to a couple of weeks. So this is 100% what's happening. We put up a smoke, we create everything, and we put all together. So for a couple of weeks. So our is pretty much ready to go. Now, let me see here. Oh, it's going on there. I like it. Almost, fantastic. So meanwhile, I will have this one ready for you to shake it. Our cocktail is very simple. We will have here our vermouth, which is the 50 milliliter. Now, a lot of guys then, this is an idea how to make, because we don't really find a lot of vermouth that actually are alcohol zero, but we can find the wine. So this is a good way really to do all together. It takes a bit of time. You guys prepare in advance, plenty, and then you have something like this ready to go. So it's pretty much very simple. And then what else? We have our gin. Love this one. This is a quite interesting with all those flavors because he has those hibiscus and rose. So it's an equal part. And voila. And I will actually have a touch of the, what is my lime? Here we go. I got the fresh lime to go inside. Really nice. I like the way it cuts the fresh citrus. And then I will actually go for shake. We love the quick shake because you probably can see from the top camera here, it gets nice and fluffy, beautiful and nice. And let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, nice, nice. I think we can stay from the top camera, because what is going to happen now is that we are going for stamping our eyes. So this is going to happen on its own, pretty much. Ready? I'm sure the guys are ready. We go. 0 for you. Happy days. This is what we call a nice 0 hibiscus americano. Now, in this case, I will actually have, we made a bitter cordial here. So this is very cool. And I will actually add a 10 milliliter of the bitter cordial. Why? Because now I'm going to actually add our carbonation. Now, the carbonation here comes from the beautiful Martini Zero. I'll remove this so you guys can see better. Now, this is an non-alcoholic sparkling wine. Superb. Love it because it's quite balanced in terms of the color, in terms of the acidity and the sweetness. You know? There we go. Ooh, love it. Good measurement, 60 milliliter of our Martini Zero will work. And then we actually, our Americano, hibiscus Americano, is ready to rock and roll. You guys feel free pretty much to, to change your recipe, to adapt to whatever you want. But what I like here is actually the color. Ooh, I love it. There we go. And the garnish here, it must be something super simple at the end of the day. You can work with your orange, you can work with I always say, keep it simple for a certain cocktail like this, because we will have just a touch of the dry hibiscus flower. This will bring a hint of the, I will say, the color on a certain point, but a lot of acidity there. So very nice, quite bitter, quite lemony. I love it. And then for me, the final is actually when you wrapping with a nice orange zest. No stamp this time. We already stamped the eyes. We keep it simple as it is, and then we have it. So this is our hibiscus americano. A lot of going on here. This is on a level 2. We need a lot of items and tools and organizations and everything. So let's see. Oh, this is good. This is good. I actually, I like it because now tasting again, I got the idea that actually we can use also some pomegranate, we can use some pomegranate juice next time, also through the infusion. With the maceration of the red wine and all the spices, you really get the kick. And to be honest, these botanicals are coming through, this hibiscus, it really works, it's nice. And the rose, at the end you get the rose. So if you garnish with some dry roses, why not? Ooh. I think I need to make for the guys in the studio here. They all love me. I said, what's going on? So I think we pretty much, we almost done. So I think I would like to do a nice recap of our journey, because we start with a 3 ways gin and tonic with a different style. Then we move into a beer cocktail. And then we get ready with this grand finale here, which was very interesting. So we hint of a smokiness here in our infuser. So that technically is in a maceration. We already made a nice red wine, no alcohol, of course. Everything we do is around cocktail 0, non-alcohol, 0. So then we left this for a couple of weeks. So we prepared that in advance. And this is a good way for you guys, the bartenders and everything, that they want to make their own vermouth. Why not? Try, get a good red wine, mix together. The balance there, you have a bit of a fennel, you got a black pepper. Why we got this inspiration on this one is because at the end of the day, the vermouth originally, that's why you're born, you're born because was to preserve the wine. So to make the wine to stay longer, they mix with the spices, barks, herbs, and it stays longer with a bit of a sweetness there to balance. So this is our inspiration is there. So till something that really comes on the market, we're ready rock and roll. But on the level 2, the guys are really understanding the usage, because the spices and herbs, they're really performing differently with the timing and with the liquid that we're putting them together. So really, so very interesting recipe, really like it. You know, if you want to use some pomegranate, why not? I always say keep it simple in the way. As you saw, we showed you the entire preparation from scratch. But of course, there is the entire mise en place to be done before. If you don't have, let's say, a machine like this, you probably have, you can actually buy directly the ice ball, or you can make it. You know, this is on another level with you guys. Well, I think that, you know, pretty much I think I can start wrapping up. It's a bit of mess here, you know. Let me see through the camera. It looks good. So what do we have here? In the meantime, Shanaz, do we have a question from our friends? Anyone that have a question?
So Giovanni, we don't have any questions from our audience, but I would like you, you know, we have a few minutes extra to our disposal, and rather than show another video, I would really like you to talk about the tools of the trade that you're using, the things that are in front of you, and things like that. It'd be really lovely for the audience to know. And I'm going to ask you for something else too. I have another plan.
Yes, absolutely. Well, as you can see, we have we pretty much we have the entire what we call the tools of trades. They start from a very simple mixing glass, then you move into a bar spoon, you have strainers like this, julep strainers, we have all those pretty much different style. The bar spoon can be, probably this is technically is a Japanese bar spoon, which has a fork. Then you have the European, the American style. So there's all sort of different tools that we needed. Something like this is an ice ball machine, though probably for a very high-end professional bar, so we call on level 2. But for us, the guys, they need to know what are the tools that you need. And as you can see, at the end of the day, we don't really need much apart of a bottle open and a peeler, you know. This is a tongue. I normally use this one just to show off, but you can have, you know, something different. And he was a good friend of mine, from a chef, actually. Maybe if he's watching, I will say hi. So this is an interesting part, that whatever we are using is simple. Very important tools to understand is the usage of the jigger. A jigger is actually a measurement at the end of the day. It has two sizes, normally comes either 25 or 50 milliliter or 30, 60, but then you have other, you know, it can be 15 to 20 or like 20, 40. So there's plenty. So the guys, it's good to measure everything, because like a good cocktail, a good dish needs to be balanced. So this is extremely important, especially when we are experimenting. When we are experimenting, we should know to always write down the recipe, because sometimes something that good come up, then we know what we actually put it. So a squeeze of that. And also when we're squeezing, we should know how much is in that lemon. So when we're choosing our fruits, you know, the oranges, for instance, we always choose what is the end use. And that's very important. I choose these oranges this morning because I know I was going to use the skin. So actually for me, is very important to have an oily skin. Then later, I will just cut it, and then I will use for some juices. It's quite soft. But it's a very important how we're selecting everything. Then we saw, of course, more advanced technique. We saw the usage of a blowtorch. We're using of a, like we call this as an infuser or maceration. We saw also the smoking gun. So we have a lot of different things. And you know, Shanaz, just for you, for the grand finale, I would like to have, let me see, I have some gold dust here. I think we can do it. Why not? Let's put some gold dust on top, and I will drink it. So I think this is a good wrap. Nice. So from our side, you know, from the level 1 to level 2, the guys, they really go to a wonderful journey where they really understanding the usage, the basic rules, the fundamentals. First of all, how to also behavior behind the bar, you know, about personality, how to really interact, storytelling, inspiration behind the cocktails, and then they move into something more in depth. So this is what we do. Shanaz, is that's a good explanation? Good enough?
Very good. But you know, the real question that I had in mind, which turned into something else when I was speaking, was I wanted you to tell us a few combinations of herbs. After being with you for over 10 videos, webinars this past year, every time we go home, we try to make a drink, we whack the glass with the mint and we do all kinds of things with it, but it's always just mint. I would like you to tell us some more combinations, some herbs and some combinations like, like citrus and mint, things like that. So we know with other herbs and we can be a little more adventurous.
Okay, you talk about like different combination on top of the mint that we also know, like more herbals and everything. Well,
yeah, like
you see,
rosemary and sage and like that.
Yeah, you see, what we love it is the fact that when you're working with the fresh herbs at the end of the day, mint, sage, rosemary, tarragon, parsley, coriander, love it. Coriander, one of my favorite because you can play around either with the seeds or with the actually fresh herbs. So in terms of combination, what we need to remember, when we open our fridge or when we go home and we find a basket of citrus. Now, lime, it really works. It's quite versatile and it always works very nice, definitely, with the classic, I will say with the what do you call it, with the rosemary. If you look into a lemon, I will go for a thyme. Then and of course with the mint. Now the citrus in general, the grapefruit, really nice with the coriander, grapefruit and coriander, I love it. So, and you can mix these in a very simple way, just with the squeeze and as we did. Well, probably if you don't have the torch at home, turn on the gas, just get the technique is very simple. You just toasting the rosemary before it goes into your glass. And then it's we don't really have to have, if you are at home, of course, this is where you need to have not too many equipment, but we just need to have how to balance. So always taste your fruit. Those herbs, they contain also a lot of oil, especially the rosemary. It has a lot of oil. So that's why when we toasting comes out. So as a combination, definitely grapefruit and coriander works very well. The citrus are working together with the different herbs here. You get the mint. I love it. The classic lemon mint here. Everyone knows about Middle East, but also with the lime, superb. And with an orange, why not? But then also the lime and the thyme and the rosemary. So there's a lot of different combination. For me, the most important is when people understanding the individual recipe, the individual product that we are using. So, very, very simple. And hey, and then if you want to know more recipe, just follow us on Instagram at Liquid Alembic. Happy days. Shanaz, I think you didn't like my answer, no?
Yes, I loved your answer. It's just that my mic was off. Okay, Giovanni Serena Odanga sends you her love from London. And I think you. Yes, Giovanni.
Sorry, what she said?
She said she sent you her love from London.
Love from London, fantastic. I told you we were international, I told you we were international. That's why we are showcasing everything, Excellent. Ciao, Serena. That was the absolutely brilliant. Ciao.
Thank you, Giovanni. Absolutely fascinating. I think one of the most important things about being able to get your art across is showmanship. And indeed, you are an incredible showman. And of course, that goatee helps. I hope our viewers have enjoyed this time with ICCA Education. And you do know where to find him if you need him.